Hello, this is the DIY Magician, and we're on the journey to see how to be funny. And we're here with
Steve Wronker.
Steve, thank you very much for coming today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for asking me.
Thank you. And what we're going to do is we're on a journey, and the journey starts with what or who is your comedy inspiration?
The people that inspired me to be funny are the old timers, Abbott and Costello, Red Skelton, even Jackie Gleason, because growing up in Miami, he had a show in Miami as well. But even the Three Stooges with the slapstick, I loved all these old timers. It was wonderful.
So do you have one special one that you like?
I think of all of them, I liked Abbott and Costello the best because Abbott was always the fall guy. And Costello obviously was the straight man, so they played off each other so well.
Very good, very good. I like that. That's a good start. My favorite's Buster Keaton, and I love the Stooges too. I love the Stooges. So now, what is funny to you?
That's a tough question to answer. Funny to me is a guy slipping on a banana, but not hurting himself falling. You expect him to fall on his rear end, but maybe he does a flip in the air, lands back on his feet. The unexpected is what's funny to me.
So what you're saying, you expect him to slip, but not to flip and then stand up again.
Exactly.
Very nice, very nice. And that you reminded me of something. The definition of comedy and tragedy. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
The definition is comedy is an old woman slipping on a banana peel. For your case, tragedy is that old woman is your grandmother.
Yes, that's very true. Very good.
So I was able to work it in. That's good. So. Good. So now, as the questions go along, they get more difficult. The next question is, what was the funniest moment in any of your live performances that was unscripted?
There have been so many because besides doing magic shows, I'm a stage hypnotist. But there is one that really stands out in my mind. During the hypnosis show, I have the volunteers imagine they're watching 3 movies: a funny movie, a sad movie, and a romantic movie. And during the romantic movie, I say the women love it. The guys, it's the ultimate chick flick, and they're going to hate it. And of course, their eyes roll to the back of their head, their hand goes on their forehead and all this. In one particular show, and it happened this year, there was a woman sitting, and she got very romantic look on her face. And I always say in my hypnosis shows, I don't want people touching each other. That's invading their space. Right. But she leaned over and put her arm around the guy, and she was probably in her early 70s, as well as the gentleman, and she laid the head on the shoulder. Everybody was cracking up. And I'm saying, don't touch. And she's just looking. If this was a cartoon, you'd see hearts coming out of her eyes. After the show, I was talking with her, and she told me that was her husband of 58 years.
Oh my goodness.
And she says, yes, I see romantic movies all the time, and there's other situations, there's a lot of good-looking guys in the audience, but this is the love of my life.
Wow.
And it had me, and the way she told it had me in stitches.
Oh my goodness.
And it was one of those things that we were laughing as it was happening, but the reality of what it was after the performance, it melted me. It just was so nice.
That's funny and touching at the same time.
It's funny and touching, and that's what makes, I think that's what makes humor. If it's personal, if it touches you, if it makes you feel emotion, that's great. So it was a perfect ending to a very funny situation.
Oh, I like that one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Now we're gonna get tougher.
All right.
We're gonna get tougher.
I'm ready.
The tough one is, what makes you funny?
That is a tough one. My wife laughs at all my jokes, so I don't have to think about it. But I think what makes me funny is I can see a situation and come up with the line to make it funny for everybody. I don't want to make it embarrassing for anybody. I'm not an R-rated or an X-rated, entertainer. My shows are all family shows, but I'm very good at ad-libbing, and I'm very good at remembering those ad-libs for the next time it comes up.
So like a callback.
Exactly. Oh, that's a good word for it. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So that good. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I think that's what makes it good is I never see myself as the star of the show. I see my volunteers, especially in the hypnosis show, but even in a magic show, getting a kid up, they're the stars of the show, whether they're just waving a wand or they're actually doing something, and I play off of that. And the words just seem to appear, and I love it.
Well, it sounds like you like to have them get the laugh than you get the laugh.
Yes, all the time, because it's personal then to the audience, and it makes for a better show. I never say I'm the star of the show. I'm the tour guide. I'm the one who suggested we go to this, whether it's a magic show that's a storytelling time I want them to feel, and to have the child or the volunteer, they get all the emotion from them. Yeah, I'll be the Costello to their Abbott, so to speak.
That's a good analogy. I like that. Very good. Now, here's the toughest one of all, and this is the one that I think is the reason we're on this journey. Okay. What, in your opinion, what does it take to be funny?
Practice. I don't think we're born being funny. I think the ability to adapt to a situation in a humorous way. Of course, you have to study comedy, you have to watch comedy on TV, read funny things. I mean, as I started in the business, first thing I read was Milton Berle's joke book.
That must have taken you years. There's 10,000 jokes in there, yeah.
Yeah, but to understand what that was all about, to give a plug to a friend of mine, Mike Book's How to Write Comedy and things like this, but knowing the situation, the callback, but calling back what other comedians have done, make it mine, and knowing when to place it into a situation, whether it's verbally, physically, or emotionally coming out. So I think that's it.
That is very good. Thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate it. And again, this is the DIY Magician on the journey to see how to be funny. Till next time. If you enjoyed that video on how to be funny, then you can go to the YouTube channel called The DIY Magician and sign up for further funny videos. If you want to follow The DIY Magician, you can go to Facebook, and the Facebook page or group is The DIY Magician. Now, if you are a professional entertainer, we have a special page just for you called DIY Magic Facebook group. So come on along and join the journey on how to be funny. This is the DIY Magician. Until next time.